Hey friends, Peggy Hall back with you from the healthyamerican.org. I call my group the Healthy American because some years ago we were told that we were unhealthy and we were making people sick and we didn't even know it. And I'm proud to be an American. I know that some people are disappointed in what's going on in our country. I'm certainly disappointed in what's going on in our public schools. And that's why I've titled this broadcast Public School Exit. I didn't make up that phrase. I'm going to share with you a friend of mine, a healthy American and a freedom fighter and a woman of faith who has been on the front lines for years. And I want to share with you these amazing resources that she has compiled to help you get your child out of public school. I've spoken about that many times on this channel, and I do understand that there are certain children who thrive in a public school setting. I actually was one of them. I loved school so much that I kept going on for a master's degree, and I wanted to be a professor, and I'm still teaching, although I'm teaching here online in this format. And I do hope to educate and encourage and inspire and empower you to read between the lines and to think critically and to increase your powers of discernment. Sadly, those skills are not really being taught in our public schools any longer. But I do want to state that I have a great deal of compassion for parents who feel that they have no other option than to keep their child in school. And it's especially important for you then to mitigate some of these harms that are being perpetrated upon your children. And I'm speaking specifically in the state of California, although it probably is similar in other states because the setup of a public school system is truly the flaw. It's the institution that is flawed. There are amazing public school teachers, and I applaud them. They probably are the reason why some of these students emerge unscathed from so many of the, as I say, the intentional harms, the curriculum and the indoctrination that is going on. So I'm going to share that with you. And I want to give you some words of encouragement. If you feel frustrated because maybe you're a parent or a grandparent and you feel that you have no ability to influence your grandchildren, or maybe you're a parent and your spouse wants your child to be in public school, or maybe your children want to be in public school, I still want to share with you these very important resources because you can also help mitigate those harms, as I say, even if your child is still in public school. All right, before we do that, I do want to thank the sponsor of this video. Let's hop right on over here. This is dermal1.com/Peggy. I've been telling you about this product. I'm grateful to the sponsor. And what you have here is a free tutorial that you can watch over at dermal1.com/Peggy. This is for those of us who want to improve our appearance on the outside so that we look as good on the outside as we feel on the inside. So what we have here is the fact that looking younger was once thought to be a luxury that only women who had access to costly professional treatments could enjoy. But there is a game-changing discovery that is finally leveling the playing field, and more women are looking and learning how to switch off their bodies aging switch. That's it. So according to experts, it's not only possible to slow down the appearance of aging, but as it turns out, most women can easily do it themselves. And that's why this latest anti-aging trend is not about aggressive treatments or expensive creams, but it is a simple daily ritual that takes less than a minute to perform. If you've noticed any of your friends looking suspiciously better and younger, it's possible that they are doing this as well. So I want you to find out all about this approach and why it's so effective and why it's not so much our age that determines our appearance, but it's the presence of these aging hormones. So check it out by this surgeon. You do not have to undergo costly, aggressive treatments. You don't have to undergo the knife, but find out how you can help your body reduce the effects of the skin aging hormone at home without any professional treatments, expensive creams, or lifestyle changes. Thousands of women have watched this tutorial, which is there for you, dermal1.com/Peggy. They are having extraordinary results, such as firmer feeling skin, fewer visible wrinkles, thicker looking hair, and increased energy as well. So that said, everybody's body will react differently. And the FDA wants me to tell you that these comments have not been evaluated by the FDA. The product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. All individuals are unique. As such, your results can and will vary. But if you're interested in trying this out at home without the hassle of seeing a professional and spending all that money, go to dermal1.com/Peggy, and I will have a link for you in the description box below. Friends, I want to share with you these incredible resources all about getting your child out of the public school. So let me share my screen, and we are going to go right on over here, and it's called Public School Exit. Very simple website. Again, I know the people behind this and I trust them, and I would love for you to check it out. publicschoolexit.com. There is a team of experts, and check this out. You can find out steps to exit. Maybe you want to do this and you're saying, Peggy, I don't know how to get my child out of the public school. What kind of forms do I have to fill out? Will the state come after me? Is this legal in California? You can find out about different schools, homeschooling options, reasons to exit, the curriculum, churches, how-to videos, teachers. So I want you to go here to publicschoolexit.com. There are videos that you can watch. This is the organizer, Fran Dries. I know her personally. I have spoken to her groups in person in San Diego. And as I say, she is a woman of faith, and she has curated this information for you. There are more and more websites that are coming online with information to help you get your child out of public school. I am not sponsored by this organization. She doesn't even know I'm doing this video, although I will share it with her. In fact, I should have her come on the show and talk about what she's doing. You can schedule a consultation to get specific help if you don't know where to start and you are frustrated. Let me share with you a couple of tips right off the bat that will help you, especially if you have children that are wanting to stay in school, or perhaps you feel frazzled and overwhelmed and you don't know where to begin. All right, I'm going to share with you some of the most common obstacles, some of the hindrances that people experience when they are considering getting their child out of the public school. And I want to say that it doesn't have to be all or nothing, especially if you are a grandparent. There's so much that you can do with your grandchildren when you have an opportunity to be with them. You can employ a lot of, I call it freedom learning, because you don't need books, you don't need a classroom. Life itself can be a natural way of learning. And I've actually got a program called Freedom Learning, and it is a very short, accessible program that you can invest in. I've got a video and then several resources, and I want to share with you some of the information that I share there. Even if you are a parent that has a child in public school, you can still employ a lot of the strategies. In fact, it's even more important than you do this with your children, especially if they are still in public school. You can do this on the weekends, in the evenings, and it does not have to be all or nothing. So one of the first obstacles that I always hear is from parents who say, I have to work. I can't stay home with my kids. So you could have a babysitter actually do some of these freedom learning activities. And I've done videos before with my colleague and homeschooling expert, Heather Martinson. I will link those for you at the end of this video, and you can reach out to her. She's got curriculum ideas. You don't have to recreate the wheel. So you could actually do these activities with your children in the evenings and on the weekends. As I say, you could have a babysitter do these things. Your kids could be a part of a community learning group where you don't have to be home to do the teaching. They could be in a program a couple of days a week. You could create a community group whereby maybe you do one of the classes on a Saturday. Who says that school has to be Monday through Friday? You can get all of the learning done on the weekends. So you have to literally think outside the box. Another objection that I get is, I have children of all different ages. Well, they can all actually learn together. They can help each other. They can do the same or different activities. One could read to another. They can collaborate. They can also be in these community learning groups with children of their own age. Another thing I hear people say is, I'm not a teacher. You don't need to be a teacher, but you know what? You already are. You're the parent. You're the natural teacher. You're the best teacher. No one knows your child or your grandchild like you do. And so you don't have to have any credentials. You don't have to have any specialized training. Although I do have a program, I probably should resurrect that, because we helped dozens of parents and grandparents and non-parents, just people that were interested in setting up these kinds of learning groups, especially when the schools were closed. So you are your child's best and most natural teacher. The other amazing thing about freedom learning when you don't have your child in a classroom is that your children are the teachers. They are the ones that actually will be teaching you. They have natural curiosity, which is unfettered when they are freed from the restrictions of a public school. They will be the ones that are driving the discovery and the exploration and the learning. And as I say, they possibly and most likely will be teaching you things that they've learned. Another obstacle that I hear all the time is, I don't have the time. I'm too busy. Well, it's really a matter of prioritizing things, isn't it? Natural learning happens naturally. Everything that you go through in your day can be a learning activity. Let's just think of maybe your children are helping you with the laundry. You can have them sort things according to color. Let's say that they are folding laundry. You can estimate the size of a pile of laundry and then guess how many inches it is. And then you can convert that into centimeters, and you can have your children, predict and that, make a hypothesis, and then they can measure it. And this is just right off the top of my head. All right. Everything you do can be a learning experience. You don't have to be the teacher, as I say. Everything can be made into a fun learning experience. And it doesn't have to be you doing all of this. Others can pitch in. You may have grandparents who want to help. There may be those in the community that want to do it. So freedom learning, as I call it, takes less time than traditional schooling because it's more of an intense period of learning and discovery. There's no time frame for it. Another thing I hear is, I don't know where to get started. Well, that's where you can go to that public school exit that I just shared with you. I will have a link for you in the description box below. And I also have the program that you can dive into with specific ideas. And you can go to my friend Heather's program at Celebration Education and also Learning Outside the Box. She's got tons of ideas. I also hear we don't have the space, or we don't have computers. We don't have time. I'm sorry, I already mentioned that. We don't have money. We don't have a curriculum. Oh my goodness, this does not have to cost you a penny. Everything that you do throughout your day can be a learning opportunity. And there's something called a library, and you can get free books there. And there are plenty of free resources online as well. Everyday activities like shopping, cooking, running errands, household activities are perfect real life learning activities. There are groups that share materials and learning activities for free. Just do some search online and you will find that. All right. Here's one that I hear all the time. I'm worried that my child will fall behind. Your child will soar when the blinders are off. Your child is going to be a hop, skip, and a jump above and beyond and over the others, because they will no longer be limited by age groups and levels. And you only have an hour for this class and an hour for that subject. That's not how we learn. We learn holistically. So parents who have done this homeschooling, which is not recreating school at home, it's learning, it's really lifelong learning, and it's natural learning, and it's using life as your classroom. They have found that their children are far above and beyond what children would be at that age level. So it's quite the contrary. Children that are not restricted in a public school setting, by and large, will soar. All right, another one that I get all the time is, how will my child be able to get into college? What about a high school diploma? Time and time again, colleges show that they prefer children that have been educated at home because they are resourceful, they're independent learners, they are far above and beyond in terms of intelligence and knowledge compared to children that were stuck in these public schools. So it is not a hindrance. And my friend Heather, you can watch that video where she speaks about doing a diploma for her child in their own homeschool. So colleges love independent learners, and being in a superior learning environment is actually a plus on your college application. If you are worried that your child is not going to be socialized, I would say, do you mean socialismized? How much socialization is going on in a classroom? Think about over those last few years where the children were isolated with partitions. They only could play with one certain group. You may have thought that was great, but you have to admit that it did separate and segregate children. How much socialization are they getting when they are isolated and separated because of their age? It's kind of interesting too. Now, I understand that 13-year-olds may not have that much in common with 8-year-olds, but 8 or 9-year-olds can have something in common. And I don't think that your child should be limited just by their age. Also, kids have plenty of opportunities to be socialized outside of school. They have sports. They might have faith-based groups. There are things that you can be doing with other parents. And if your child says, well, all of my friends are in school, why not create these learning groups outside of school with your children's friends? And the final thing that I want to let you know, it does not have to be all or nothing. You can even say to your child, for this semester, we are going to experiment with doing learning at home and make it sound fun, like an exploration. Figure out what your child is interested in, focus on that. Please watch my videos with Heather Martinson from Celebration Education. Her experience is going to invigorate you and entice you to try this out with your own children. I think that there is a lot of resistance when a child thinks, I'm going to be away from my friends and I'll never see them again. Create opportunities for your children to be with their friends, include the friends in these groups, and you can do this learning in the afternoons, in the evenings, and on the weekends, so your child has plenty of time to be surrounded by others. Let me know other objections that you have heard from parents or things that you are concerned about in terms of getting your child out of public school. Check out Public School Exit, and I'm grateful that you are considering a superior learning alternative for your child or your grandchild. And my best advice is to try it out yourself. Give yourself an opportunity, and it doesn't have to be all or nothing. You can always let your child go back to the public school if they prefer it. I know plenty of examples of children that were homeschooled for several years. They tried the public school, and then they went back to homeschooling because they preferred it, and maybe vice versa as well. So there's no hard and fast rule. I just want to offer you some encouragement, because breaking free from the public school indoctrination, in my opinion, is one of the most profound ways that we can improve what's going on in our country and not have children that are just going to listen to authority without questioning it. What say you? Thank you, everybody, for being on board, and I appreciate you being with me as we march this all the way to heaven.